So you've done the hard thing and you've put a boundary in place with a person that was toxic, no good for you. And now you're confused about why it's hard to hold that boundary when you know the damage that they did and you know how they hurt you. So why are you struggling to still hold the boundary? That's what I want to talk about today because I've been walking through that this week and I want to share how I have been managing it because it has been very, very trying. I think this comes up a lot of times when you are a person that forgives and you don't hold grudges. And so you know, recognize that people mess up, they make mistakes, and yet you or also you want to acknowledge that people aren't all bad, but maybe they're just not the right person for you or not the right person to be in your inner circle. I think that's when this can be exceptionally hard because when you are a type of person who forgives and you don't hold grudges, you tend to forget about the really horrible times, right? And so when you get in a spot where you think that maybe that person could help you, or you're maybe doing an activity that you guys used to do together and you start reminiscing, it can be tough, right? You can kind of want the familiar back. You could be still maybe grieving the loss of what could have been. And so how do you hold that boundary? Because it can be tempting to go back. It could be tempting to make that boundary, weak in the sense that you say, oh, well, just this one time I'll have them over or we'll get together or whatever the case is. And I know for me, I wanted to talk about that because I've been going through that this week. I am I was in a position where I needed to buy another vehicle. My youngest son is driving now. He just got his license. And so I decided I would give him the car I was driving and I would replace, and I would get a new car. Well, for some reason, and I think it's probably because I was being tested in the very thing that I would need to talk to you about. But for some reason, I felt anxious about making this decision by myself. It's a high dollar item. I don't want to make the wrong decision. And so I felt anxious about going to the dealership myself, and I didn't want them to try to, haggle over the price and all of that stuff. And I didn't want to be taken advantage of. And so I really wanted to call my ex-husband. I really fought numerous times against calling him and saying, hey, can you help me out with this? Because we don't have a bad relationship. He's an excellent father, not a great husband, but he was an excellent father and or is an excellent father. And we have a fine relationship. We've been divorced over 20 years. He would have come and helped me. At least I think. I think so. But I had to ask myself, because this is not the first time I bought a car by myself. So I had to ask myself, why do I keep feeling like I want to call him? And the boundary that I have with him is one that we are cordial, but we just, we keep it pretty much, you know, about if there's anything we need to discuss. We don't talk often because our kids are adults. And then sometimes we'll just, you know, occasionally he'll send me like an interesting article or something he thinks I might be interested in. But we're not like friends, like we talk all the time or anything like that. So we kind of have that boundary. And I kept thinking, like, why do I feel like I need to reach out to him? Because I think it felt familiar. I knew that I could trust his judgment about buying a car, like he would, give me good advice. But at the same time, it's not something I haven't done before. And it's not something that I couldn't figure out, like with ChatGPT, which is what I ended up doing. But multiple times I had to fight the urge to reach out to him. And this is what I did. And this is what I want to share with you. And if I must need to share this, because there must be a woman who is right now maybe fighting that urge to break a boundary. What I did was I was I was torn, because I'm like, God, I know that's probably not a good idea. We have this boundary in place and we're not together for a reason. So I know it's probably not a good idea, but how can I fight this urge to reach out to him and ask for his help? And it's not from a place of I want to be super independent and or anything like that. Please don't misunderstand. But it's from a place of I'm feeling scared. I feel like I don't want to do this alone. But is he the right person to do it with me, to help me? And I kept feeling like yes, but no, yes, but no. So yes, because he probably would give me good advice, but no, because I think I should hold the boundary to kind of just keep our relationship very kind of like high level. And so because I didn't have a complete peace about it, I knew that meant that that's not what I was supposed to do. So what I ended up doing, and I believe God gave this to me, was I kept asking myself whenever I felt that urge, is he in alignment with me? Would having him back in my life on, helping me with like day-to-day issues and questions like that, if we were to, be more friendly or be closer again, would he support my vision, my purpose, where I'm going? Are we in alignment from that standpoint? If I were to share with him some of my dreams and goals and what I think God is calling me to do, would he be in support of that? And the answer is no. In fact, I said to myself, he'd probably make fun of me. He probably would mock me and say, oh, okay, so you want to be an author. Yeah, got it. You want to be a speaker. You want to inspire women. Got it. Yeah, he would not be supportive of that or believe in that. He doesn't walk with the Lord, so, you know, we're not in alignment. And that question helped me hold tight to facing my fears and going forward, just asking the Lord to lead and guide me, and then using ChatGPT, honestly, to help me make this decision, and I felt like Chat was a great partner in helping me, decide which model. I told Chat what my goals were, that I had a long commute to work and some of the things I wanted to use the car for. Long story short, I think Chat and I made a good decision and we got the car, so that's done. But the moral of this story is, if you are having a difficult time holding your boundary with someone in your life that is not good for you, but you have a hard time keeping at arm's length, even though you know you should, ask yourself, are they going where you're going? Would they support your mission? Would they be behind you if you believe God's calling you to do something? Ask yourself if they would be there in your corner, supporting you, cheering you on. If the answer is no, hold your boundary. Let that be proof enough that you could not let this person derail you. You could not let them throw you off course with what you know you've been called to do. And I think that will help you be the best you. It'll give you peace in saying no and holding the boundary and knowing that, okay, I really am doing things differently now. I'm not going to make the same mistakes again. So I believe this is for somebody. I know it is so hard to hold that boundary. I know it can be so difficult when you want to give in because they're familiar. Maybe in the moment they feel safe, and you're just not sure if you can do it on your own. Maybe doing things on your own is a new thing for you. And there's the thing, maybe it's not, because it's not a new thing for me. Like I said, we've been divorced over 20 years. Not the first time I had to make a decision like that. So I'm not sure why I felt so intimidated by it. But one thing I know for sure is that I made the right decision to only take people into my future that I am aligned with, that can grow with me, that can come alongside me. And that's the same for you. You are called to do great things. And we don't have that much time left. I don't believe. I believe Jesus is coming back soon. And we need to get busy and be about the reason that God put us on this planet. What part are we supposed to play in these last days? What I truly believe are the last days. And that could be 10 years, 5 years, it could be 50 years. But why wait? There are so many people that you can impact. There's so much difference that you could make. But only take people into that future that you know will be able to support you through it, love you through it, and encourage you through it. Also, guys, I have this idea of putting together a mentorship program for ladies who are interested, where if we get enough interest from ladies of all different ages, we can pair you guys up for mentorship or just friendship. But I just thought it would be a good idea because so many people don't have anybody to talk to. And so many women say, it's hard to make friends. So if it's hard to make friends and you don't have anybody to talk to, why don't we pair up with ladies that are in our community? So if you'd be willing to pair up with another woman through emails or texts and just be a friend or a listening ear or mentor, if that's something that sounds like it would be interesting, drop it in the comments. So I'll keep asking over the next couple of videos. If this is something that sounds interesting, then I'll go ahead and start to organize it. And I am big on bringing back women, mentoring women. So if we don't have it in our local churches, maybe we could just create it here ourselves. So let me know in the comments if that's something you would be interested in. I'm now at a different park trying to get some more steps in, but I want you to know that you need to study the Word of God. You need to study yourself so that you can learn to see you as God sees you, because He has greatness in store for you, and you can't let anybody derail that purpose. So until next time, take care of yourselves. Love you guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.